Okay, it would seem that I actually missed one of these Lio items here. Thanks to the person that helped me notice that. I forgot to do hides. We're gonna go ahead and do a med pack here. You got your general tag, which will do your coordinates and all that fun stuff. But on the hide tab is where it actually starts to get interesting. Initial count is how many times that it's going to try to do this entry whenever the game begins. And for this, we have it set to 10, so it'll attempt to do that 10 times whenever the game starts. Attempt delay is how long in between each execution that it tries to do it again. So it'll take, I think every 1,000 is 1 second. So, or possibly every 100 is 1 second. I'm not sure. Some of these times are pretty screwy around here, but succeed delay is how often, if it successfully executes it, then how long before it'll try and do it again. So if it does, then it'll wait 12 seconds to do it again. Probability is 1, it'll do it every single time, and 0, it'll never do it. So if you, except for on initial entry for 0. So if you only want it to do it once whenever the game starts, then you go ahead and do it 0. Which you can see here on the ammo dispenser unit, it only does it once whenever the game starts. Minimum players is the least amount of players before it'll begin executing this, and this one we always want it to do it. And maximum players, the amount of the players gets above this number, then it'll quit. And since we don't want it to quit, we're going to go ahead and put it with 500 here, or a fairly high number to make sure that you won't run into that problem. Minimum player distance is how close they can be and still see it. You probably want to go ahead and set that to 0, so even if they're standing right on top of it, they can still see it. Maximum player distance is how far away, and we want them to always be able to see it, so we just go ahead and hit that the highest number there, so they can always see that no matter where they're at in the level. Max type and area is 10, so there will never be more than 10 of these hidden items in this area. Max type and level, this is kind of tricky. You pretty much always want to do this to -1 unless you really know exactly how many that you only want inside the arena at a time. For med packs in particular, we don't want them to run out, and because this goes by off every single player how many that they have, and adds it all up and it reaches that number, then nobody will be able to pick any more up, or it won't create any more. Hide relative ID is if you want the max type in the area to be linked with another Lio, then the two added together if it reaches that, then it'll quit making both of them. Assign frequency is who can actually pick it up, and right here, well, no, I guess that's for a turret and who it'll fire at. As it's not a turret, then we don't want it to actually fire at anybody because we don't want medpacks shooting at people. Hide ID is what it's actually going to hide, and that'll be the med pack right there. And hide quantity, out of each time it executes, it will put this many down, so it'll execute 10 times, and it'll put 2 down each time, so that'll put 20 there. Pretty handy. Hide turret group, for inventory items, this has no meaning. For the computer turret vehicles, this represents the group ID of the turret that will be used to allow switch Lio control of this turret. And since we're not using a switch here, we won't actually be using that, especially since once again it's not a turret. Real-time strategy state number. This is I guess you really probably won't ever use this. I'm not sure where the real-time strategy state numbers are actually defined. I haven't seen it yet, but if you do find it, well, good luck to you. But as for now, you just set that to -1 because we won't be using it. Turret switch frequency is again who it will fire at. The frequency of the turret will assume when it's switched on. So if you were using a switch, then who it will actually fire at. And inverse state. Here, we'll go ahead and pull up a turret here so you can look. Well, I guess these aren't switch turrets either. So I don't have any switch turrets made right here on this file. In fact, I haven't seen many at all, but you'll use these for the turret. And inverse is whether you hit it on and it'll go off, and if you hit it off, it'll come on. It's pretty kind of pointless, but you never know. The clump radius and clump quantity. This is to make sure that a bunch of the same item aren't put right on top of each other, that it kind of spreads them out. And your clump radius will be 5, so no two of the hidden things will be in the same area as long as they're not within 5 pixels or spaces apart from each other. Your clump quantity, number of independent prizes of this type to drop within the clump radius. So if you only wanted one within each clump radius, then you would just hit one, and it'll make sure to keep those nice and separated. As far as the med packs, it doesn't much matter. We'll just toss them in wherever. As far as your minerals and stuff like that, you'd probably want to actually have the clump radius to keep them from piling up on top of each other. And finally, you have your hide announcement. If you wanted the game to actually announce whenever something came up, this would put the text up in the top left hand corner, like over here on the text. No, right there on the text. Whenever you walk over that area, it'll put that text up in the top left. Well, it'll do the same for that, except it'll tell it to everybody whether they're in the arena or not. So if you want a big announcement, tell everybody, hey, there's med packs available, then you do it right there. And that's pretty much the entire Lio. Sorry I missed this one, but hey, went back and got it. So once again, good luck to you guys.